Alternative government says it is ready for Parliament tomorrow. As Bulolo MP takes over Melanesian Alliance. And coffee making a comeback in Kaiap.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Monday's news. The alternative government camping at the Laguna Hotel says it is ready for Parliament tomorrow. Taripori MP James Marape says the camp is steadfast despite not declaring any candidate for the Prime Minister's position. Among leaders who spoke, former Prime Minister Semekera Morata, who said like-minded leaders want change and better leadership.
How's everybody here? Okay. All excited, huh? Yes.
Grand Chief and Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas joined the Laguna camp this morning, bringing much hype to the scene. Welcoming Sir Peter, Taripori MP James Marape says the group has one voice, and that is to take back PNG. He says the alternate government is ready as Parliament resumes for business tomorrow.
We appeal to the conscience of the so-called statesmen of our country. It's not time for us to play mumbles. I can't stand watching resources of our country plundered and squandered to the greedy few, the corporate interests. Few carry submissions in Waigani and run all the way to the banks. Be it foreigners or citizens alike. These are the type of people, my core group of young soldiers at the back, members alike, they're fighting them, and we are in the business of taking them.
Sir Peter says the writing on the wall is clear enough. He says people want change and leaders must decide for the better.
So I am here today and I want to announce that I am here to support this camp to form a new government. I want to see a young, vibrant team take leadership going forward so that we, the senior people here, senior leaders here, have an opportunity to see that they are doing the right thing for our country. We are not going to go anywhere else, you know. We are all going to be buried here. Our kids are going to live and die here. We owe it to the country, and I believe that it is time we stood up and took our country back. It has gone to the wrong hand.
Former Prime Minister and Mosby Northwest MP Semekera Morata says the alternate government is focused in doing government business differently. He says bad decision-making from the top level has crippled all government functions.
Because this is the team which will save Papua New Guinea and charter a new course of development. We want a government that has eyes to see the people and their lifestyles. We want a government that can hear people's cries. This government has not been, and it's not likely going to be.
Meanwhile, former Finance Minister James Marape appealed to the other MPs in government to reconsider their decision and not to be enticed by short-term benefits.
This special appeal, come out, be liberated, be free. Stand for what you totally believe is correct against party conventions, party principles that don't run harmony with your core principles and your DNA. You're fighting against your inner core and spirit. And the same call goes to Sir Julius. The same call goes to Pius Wingti. The same call goes to those who hold this country at heart, claim to hold this country at heart. You've ran this country in the 80s, in the 90s, in 2000s. Your legacy remains to be judged. In the twilight of your career, you can just do justice to this country by placing this country back in where it's supposed to go.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Another coalition partner of the People's National Congress has announced its defection. People's Party leader and Jiwaka Governor Dr. William Tongap says under the party constitution, the rule of law and zero tolerance on corruption were the 2 points stressed when comparing government leadership. Tongap says under his leadership, the party will camp with the alternative government at Laguna. Former party leader and Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas was present during the announcement this morning.
We have finally decided that we will leave our alliance with the current government to form the camp here to form a new government for our country. The reason being there is a need for change in the country, and all of us are aware of that.
I have wanted this government, and I've been talking to the Prime Minister many years, but allowing the processes and systems to work. And it has fallen on deaf ears, and I believe that it's not in the best interest of our country. I know that it is not in the best interest of my people and my province that I represent in Parliament. We have to learn to share powers.
He has taken the bold move to come and join the Laguna camp. Mi plama mastrulong welcome memna. Mi plasawe also mem money got plenty experience long work politics. Na big plama mastru golong. People's Party long lusim government blo Peter O'Neill na come long join him team long kisim back country blo yumi.
Parliament is expected to resume tomorrow at 2 p.m, a sitting that will no doubt have everyone eagerly tuning into. The sitting will see a number of former ministers and members of government sit on the opposition side, a first time for many. We take a look at the proceedings that is expected to take place when Parliament resumes tomorrow.
At the ring of the bell, Parliament is expected to resume tomorrow at 2 p.m. The resumption will see a shift of former ministers and government MPs to the other side in what they hope is for a short time before the vote of no confidence. So what is expected to take place when Speaker Job Pomat enters the chamber? Normal proceedings will take place with the Lord's Prayer. Then the much talked about vote of no confidence motion will be acknowledged by the Speaker. Following that, the Constitution states the motion of no confidence must be given a 1-week notice. So the vote will take place the following Tuesday on the 14th of May. In the instance the Prime Minister is asked to resign and does so, the Standing Order Section 7A, the election of the Prime Minister, will come into play. Now that leaves the question of if the alternate government at Laguna have agreed on who the alternate Prime Minister is. That decision will most likely come down to what party has the number or what party has the support of the minority parties. After the 2017 elections, the minority parties had the final say in the election of the Prime Minister and will play a key role in the election of a new Prime Minister. Adelaide Sirax-Kari, National, EMTV News.
Members of the Papua New Guinea Correctional Services should remain neutral in this period of a looming vote of no confidence. In a statement today, Acting Commissioner Stephen Pokanis has instructed all members of the service to remain neutral and not participate in any political maneuvering. The Acting Commissioner says any officers found to be participating will be suspended immediately with normal disciplinary charges to follow. In addition, officers who leave their institutions or duties for over 10 days will be recommended for dismissal. Here with Monday's news, we go for a break and be back with more of the day's top stories when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. According to a senior physiotherapist in Leh, many physiotherapist graduates are jobless due to limited job opportunities for them in the workforce. Buffy Gordon, a senior physiotherapist at Engau Memorial Hospital, says the study of physiotherapy, although fairly new in the country, has gained interest among students. However, she says not enough jobs are being created to meet this growing interest.
The physiotherapy department at Leh's Engau Hospital has only 4 working staff who attend to both the inpatients and outpatients section every week. In a week, the clinic sees about 20 to 30 patients. This number, according to senior physiotherapist Ms. Buffy Guo-Don, would increase if patients were coming in from rural areas as well. Sadly, most don't even know such a service exists in the country. And this, according to her, is because there are no positions for physiotherapists in rural health centers.
Positions has to be created so that these physios can go out to the rural place to help our vast population that are really suffering.
The study of physiotherapy was introduced into the Divine Word University in 2002. The first enrollments were in 2003, with Ms. Dawn being one of the pioneering students. She says physiotherapy services are just like any other health services, however, lack clarity among the public. As a fairly new profession, physiotherapists in the country are embarking on creating more awareness. Ms. Dawn and her team left for Geneva this morning to register the PNG Physiotherapy Association.
Association's aim is to improve the quality of the profession in the country so that all the physiotherapists can work to meet the world's international standard of our profession. That's the main aim. We are getting this profession, Physiotherapy Association, to be registered into the World Confederation.
Ms. Dawn adds that a 2-week visit will open doors for the association and elevate the standard of physiotherapists in the country. One who will benefit from this trip is Dolly Apollo, a trainee physiotherapist. She said although finding it difficult in securing this job, it was the rewarding feeling that made her job worthwhile.
So what we do here, we help them to regain back the functional activities and help them to carry on with their daily lives, activities in daily lives.
Meanwhile, Ms. Dawn says there are currently a total of 150 physiotherapists in the country. Charlene Airy, National EMTV News, Ley.
Hewlett-Packard has announced Remington PNG as its first HP Premier dealership in the Pacific. According to Remington Group CEO Peter Goodwin, they are excited at the confidence shown in Remington PNG and is a testament to the confidence in the PNG market.
Papua New Guinea's first ever HP Premier dealership was officially announced in Port Moresby last week. Remington Group CEO Peter Goodwin said that this is the first time HP has signed a Premier dealership outside Australia within the Pacific region.
The story about Remington Group goes back 71 years to 1948, where we started selling typewriters and servicing typewriters in Papua New Guinea. So the Remington Group is one of this country's best known brands. The most recent addition to our family is the Premier Business Solutions and our association with Hewlett-Packard. And HP's a big name globally. And we've been very lucky, very fortunate to be able to sign an agreement with Hewlett-Packard recently that sees us through our involvement with Premier Business Solutions, which is part of the Remington Group.
According to Goodwin, this is significant not only for the company but for Papua New Guinea as the first and only HP Premier dealership in PNG and the region.
We've been able to set the pace here in PNG. No one else can do what we can do. We have access to superior product that other providers who do sell HP here don't have access to. So we have access to A3 page-wide devices. They're very secure devices, and so we're really excited about the opportunity to partner with Hewlett-Packard here in PNG as this country's only Premier dealer. It's a great time for PNG.
Through the new dealership, Premier Business Solutions PNG, HP will be providing a market-leading and robust portfolio of technology products, which includes leading printers in the industry and smarter solutions and security features.
Celebrate the story about PNG and the Remington Group brand. And it's all about jobs for Papua New Guineans. And this is about developing our group for our people, for our country. There is no Premier dealer outside Australia. Only one in Papua New Guinea and no one else in the Pacific. So we're it. And that's a really great story to tell and celebrate for PNG.
HP Australia's partner business manager Andrew Bashford said through the Premier Business Solutions PNG, HP has the ability to deliver HP's latest range of innovative technology and solutions with improved security to address common business challenges. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
A man from Kaiap in Enga province is beginning to reap the rewards of his hard work from harvesting coffee in a non-coffee planting province like Enga. After struggling to nurse coffee and grow it in his village, Andrew Kundapen won the 2018 coffee cupping competition in Port Moresby. His village councillor, Paul Kurai, has high hopes that Kundapen will prosper further with his coffee project. Vasinata Yama reports.
Andrew Kundapen, after receiving coffee nursery training by Coffee Industry Corporation in 2017, used his skills to nurse coffee at his Kaiap village of Enga province. Kundapen was among the Kaiap and Ambum coffee farmers who underwent the training. However, none of the coffee farmers used the skills except for Kundapen, who believes that money comes through sweat and hard work.
Me RM story now me start long, continue long this last story, me working this la.
Enga province is not a coffee growing province due to its climate and geography. However, in 2006, Coffee Industry Corporation identified Kaiap village and Ambum district as the only two fertile lands in Enga province to grow coffee. Because of this, Kaiap village councillor Paul Kurai, who is also a local businessman, supported the coffee farmers with 20,000 kina. His aim was to encourage youths and locals not to be lazy and wait for free handouts, but to work hard to earn money. Councillor Kurai's money was misused.
I can help all my people. I've been encouraging all my young people, they've been not doing anything in my village, So I've been telling all the young guys to get involved in small business, And this guy has put his hands up and he has done something, and I really appreciate it. We came down here, we have seen what he has done.
Kurai is now supporting Kundapen financially to grow coffee and increase his coffee production to local markets. Kundapen's Kaiap coffee won the 2018 coffee cupping competition to have the sweetest and strongest coffee in the country.
So no got one inshallah, Papu Nugini no got one black money winning me. So me no sabelongan me go inshallah, Kandrina me winning. So me go second time, no got one man by winning me.
Councillor Kura is working tirelessly to bring microbanks into his Kaiap village so that his local people can receive the needed skills to do banking and get loans. They formed the Kaiap Coffee Association to borrow loans and start up small businesses so that they can improve their way of living.
Money maglong scale blow you, need blow you, me blow again, look.
Meanwhile, Kundapen has over 4,000 coffee seedlings to plant. He is urging the locals to also farm coffee and keep themselves busy. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Back to some updates in politics, and all 5 MPs from the Sundown province are now in the Laguna camp after the return of Governor Tony Wowo. A media conference was held yesterday evening to announce his return. Sporting a Trukai Fun Run t-shirt, Mr. Wowo appeared quite jovial as he was welcomed by other MPs into the camp.
Over the past week, Mr. Wowo has been attacked and ridiculed on social media after he initially appeared in an opposition news conference, then later on the same day declared that he was a die-hard member of the People's National Congress Party. Speaking in the news conference yesterday evening to welcome the governor into camp was former Defense Minister and member for Teleforming, Solan Mirisim.
I asked my governor because governor was with me in that party. And he was in Nuku last week. But however, today, let me welcome my governor, Waisipik Honorable Tony Wowo, to the camp. And it is for the first time that he has met his 4 members of parliament.
So I went home to seek my people's views back at home, to join which alternate government or even stay in the current government. So I went back to Nuku during the weekend and I got reviews back in my district. I asked my people back in the district because they are my bosses. They will mandate me back. Without their reason, then I would not be able to make it back in 2022. So.
Defending Mr. Wowo were various MPs, including ECP Governor Alan Bird, saying he had to seek the consent of his people before officially moving to the opposition.
Name talk. Can something come up now? To Mila Golo Place. So me to camera, you go place, to lo line lo place, kisi good platini na comeback. Mitla bus mania. Place lo mitla no got service.
Vanimo Green MP Belden Nama, who did a head count yesterday afternoon, said the camp now has 2/3 of the governors in the country in the Laguna camp, adding that it was a sizable figure that expressed how provinces were feeling.
Seated before you are 6 very powerful governors in their own right. Powerful governors in the sense where they all come from resource provinces. So we almost got 3/3 of the governors in the country.
Wowo's arrival into camp yesterday now adds one more MP to the camp, bringing the number to 58. Alet Kora, National MTV News.
As the number game continues into the eve of Parliament and the looming vote of no confidence, ECP Governor Alan Bird is warning public servants to refrain from getting involved with politics.
Amila toki yubla policeman. Yubla walk blay good. Walk blay good. No ke nigo ananit lol man give yubla money na. Yubla like a walk politicians. Stop him. You blow secretary blow department lo ring lo member. Lo kalabim banis na go. What are you trying to protect? What are you trying to protect? Who are you trying to protect?
Checkbook too.
Something wrong lo country you blow public servants looking to no gat. Mila aski you blow. You blow make him me go. Me blow young blow leader. Me blow no come lo pull up in pocket. Me blow no wear him all fancy suit na run. You blow like me blow rouse him set na karim gun walk about lo street. That's how young Papua New Guineans are feeling. You plus silip lo one half na you know how young Papua New Guineans are feeling. Our young people are angry and frustrated because public servants are taking sides. Stop it. Save your people.
East New Britain Governor Nakikus Konga today made his intentions known to join the opposition or alternative government. Konga, a People's Progress Party member, has caused a split in the East New Britain's 5-man team who have vowed to change the economic and social landscape of the province. Pomio MP and Minister for Public Service Elias Kapavore says he will remain with the PNC party, while the other 2 MPs and state ministers Jelta Wong and Emil Tabur haven't made their intentions known as yet.
Nakikus Konga's move to the opposition side today has further strengthened the NGI bloc that has thrown their support behind the opposition. Konga, a People's Progress Party member, says he is not aware of other members' political stand, but today he made his. The PPP, a coalition partner to the PNC-led government, is headed by the New Ireland Governor and former Prime Minister Sir Julius Chen, who hasn't made his stand known publicly. Meanwhile, Pomio MP and Minister for Public Services Elias Kapavore released a statement yesterday in response to his LLG ward leaders who requested him to join the opposition pack. Minister Kapavore in his statement said he will remain in the House and fix the issue, a statement that portrays his loyalty to the PNC party. Gazelle MP Jelta Wong, who is also the police minister, and Kokopo's Emil Tamur, the tourism minister, haven't made their intentions known as yet. Both men are also members of the People's Progress Party. On the other end of the border, West New Britain's Governor Sasindran Muthuvel pulled away from the PNC party on Friday last week to join the opposition. Konga and Muthuvel's move has further strengthened the number of MPs from the New Guinea Islands region who are now with the opposition. The Manus Governor Charlie Benjamin also called it quits from the PNC party to join the opposition last week. The remaining MPs from the NGI region are yet to make their stand known as the days wind down to the no confidence vote against the current government. Their stand, if any, could influence the current number game. Edwin Fidelis, National MTV News, Kokopo.
And as the hours count down to the Parliament sitting which begins tomorrow, political parties continue to solidify their alliances. Following Sam Basil's announcement of the 9 ex-Pango Party MPs joining the Melanesian Alliance, leaders of People's Progress Party, Sir Julius Chan, and People's Labour Party, Peter Yama, were seen in discussion with Melanesian Alliance MPs. PPP MP and East New Britain Governor Nakikus Konga had earlier today joined the alternative government camp at Laguna before leaving for Crown Hotel later on in the day. Both the PPP and PLP are expected to make their intentions known within the next few hours. Here with Monday's news, we'll take a look at some stories making headlines when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. In some developments this afternoon, the East New Britain Governor Nakikus Konga has returned to the PNC camp at the Crown Hotel. So some interesting developments there in politics. The 9 ex-Pangu party members led by former party leader Sam Basil has ditched the Pangu banner altogether and have joined the Melanesian Alliance. Melanesian Alliance was co-founded by John Momis and John Kaputin in the late 1970s. Sam Basil, leading the party today, made these statements at the Crown Hotel camp. Annette Cora with the details.
It has been a trying battle as 9 members of the former Pangu party announced their course to join the Melanesian Alliance party after recent decisions by then fellow members to break away from the Pangu party. Then party leader Wasaragawi MP Joseph Yopi Yopi was the only member branded under the party, but later defected to the People's National Congress Party in 2017 after the elections.
Who is the General Secretary? That we have agreed upon that once we have this process completed, we will go for a mini convention and we will reset everything in order for us to function as a party, prop up new policies into the 2022 national elections so that we can contest the 2022 elections.
Basil said since 2017 they have found it difficult to operate, adding further that he will keep pushing forward and amend laws if possible to have all constitutions for political parties standardized.
Political parties in Papua New Guinea. Unfortunately, we were the victim of a constitution that has been manipulated while the party was without parliamentary wing. Therefore, we found it hard to especially call for a convention to neutralize and reset the clock, which we haven't got since 2014.
9 of the 6 members of the former Pangu have proceeded on to Laguna, whilst the rest have remained to team up with Melanesian Alliance to stick to the current government. Annette Cora, National EMTV News.
The news abroad now, and Israel's Prime Minister has ordered the country's military carry out massive strikes on Gaza. Violence in the region intensified over the weekend after 2 Palestinian militants died and 2 Israeli soldiers were injured on Friday. It's the most serious escalation of fighting in recent years.
Singled out in a packed Gaza City street. This was a targeted strike, killing a Palestinian Israel said was a money launderer for militants. Air raid sirens have hardly stopped in southern Israel. More than 500 rockets have been fired from Gaza since yesterday, one of the deadliest flare-ups between old enemies since they last fought a war in 2014. As the rockets claimed Israeli lives, there was talk of a fierce response from the country's Prime Minister.
I've instructed our forces to continue with massive strikes against terrorists in the Gaza Strip, and the forces around the Gaza Strip will be stepped up with tank, artillery and infantry.
Powerful explosions hit Gaza as the warplanes struck. Israel said it hit hundreds of militant sites. People's homes and lives were lost too. A tower block was hit. Israel said a militant commander was based there. This was a direct hit on a civilian building, nothing to do with militants or factions. This is what we get from the Israeli occupation, this local man said. But tonight, officials in Gaza said residents were among the dead. Israel and Hamas have come close to all-out conflict of late, but not as close as this. Militants have been trying to get concessions from Israel, which blockades the Strip and which demands calm on its boundary. But there are signs Hamas has been losing its grip on some smaller militant groups there, a factor which partly triggered this latest flare-up. It also makes what happens next hard to control.
The pain caused by suicide has been driven home in a march to the New Zealand Parliament. Hundreds of people carrying photos of family and friends who died are calling for more funding for mental health care.
Hundreds marching, singing, and performing haka for the loved ones they've lost.
For my cousin, Mary Jane. My nephew, he committed suicide just over a year ago.
There are a lot of people that we know that want to or are trying.
I skipped school because this is a special day.
pushing through Parliament's forecourt barriers to put their late family and friends in pride of place. Organisers say it's time their message is heard.
Funding in the right place. Counsellors save lives. These kids will come to me, of all people, and say, Auntie, how do I get help? I don't know where to send them. And if I do, there's waiting lists everywhere.
The independent MP, Jamie Lee Ross, choosing to march with them, saying the former government he was a part of did nowhere near enough.
I wish I had more awareness around mental health and around the need to support New Zealanders. I wish I knew what I know now.
Today proving there will be many waiting and hoping that the country's first well-being budget will finally deliver on mental health.
It might be one of 3 official languages for New Zealand, but sign language does not always open doors for work opportunities for the deaf. So at the start of Sign Language Week, promoters are urging employers to keep an open mind.
Simkovich may have the dream job, a chocolatier at the Wellington Chocolate Factory, hard-working, determined and obviously popular.
Working with Ryan is really easy.
He's a really nice guy, really sort of generous and friendly, and yeah, he's just got a great attitude.
He's also deaf, not that it's an issue for his colleagues.
They love sign language. I think this is quite a noisy environment sometimes, so when you're quite far away from each other, you can communicate. For instance, can you grab me a hot chocolate, please?
Just learning a bit of sign language here and there, making sure that we can kind of make it a little bit more inclusive.
Ryan's one of 20,000 Kiwis who use sign language. 4,000 of them are deaf, and finding work can be hard for many.
They find barriers in terms of people's attitudes, unsure about how they can have a deaf person in the workplace, how communication happens. They don't know New Zealand Sign Language, they don't know about whether they have to pay for an interpreter. It just seems too hard.
In fact, employers can apply for government funding for interpreters. Sign language was forbidden in schools until the late 1970s, but it became an official language in 2006 and is now regularly visible, from politics to national emergencies.
When you first start in a workplace, the other staff members aren't sure about how to work with deaf people. They wonder if you actually have the capacity, whether you can actually do the work. So it's like you have to prove yourself and show that deaf people can do the work.
He's done that and more, inspiring his colleagues to take up workshops to learn a little sign language themselves.
Here with Monday's news, we go for another break. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with Rugby League, and the SPPNG Hunters lost their 8th match this season, this time at home on Sunday in front of a 6,000 plus crowd. The Hunters allowing the Townsville Blackhawks to beat them for the Air Niugini Kokoda Cup. The Cup was a concept that started in 2017 to commemorate the Kokoda track battle and to celebrate the inaugural flight from Port Moresby to Townsville in 2017.
It was a chance for the SPPNG Hunters to get their second win from 9 matches. They turned out to warm up along with their opponents, the Townsville Blackhawks. On offer 2 points and the Air Niugini Kokoda Cup. The pre-match started off with an entourage of Air Niugini women walking out the tunnel in the chair of the stadium. Followed closely by 2 pilots carrying the prestigious cup. The players finally came out to the field. A minute silence was observed in respect for the fallen heroes of Kokoda. The Hunters have been holding on to the cup back-to-back since its inception, and defending it was a priority. The game was hearty nonetheless, but the recent form by the Hunters crept in, and eventually the team lost to a more disciplined Blackhawk side. The Blackhawks defeating the Hunters 24 points to 14 to claim their first ever Air Niugini Kokoda Cup. Fidelis Sukina National, EMTV Sports.
For the Port Moresby Suburban League, new developments are being planned for their competition venue. An assessment has been done by the National Capital District Commission to start developing their playing field.
This is Connie Tigers Oval. The field itself is not exactly the kind you would expect in a growing city like Port Moresby, but nonetheless it serves its purpose of hosting the game of rugby league. When it is dry weather, the field is hard and each tackle brings pain and a cloud of dust. And when it is wet, it is mud wrestling. But good things are on the horizon for the iconic suburban field that has become synonymous as Port Moresby's home of off-season rugby league in recent years. A total revamp is what's needed for the ground, and soon that will happen.
We have been talking with NCDC and they have indicated to build a mini stadium for us this year. I think by September or August they should commence work.
Port Moresby Suburban League calls the ground home, and its chairman Boski Koka has welcomed NCDC's gesture to have the place revamped.
During the week, this week they came in and they do a little bit of scoping, and then how they will draft up our plan to come and build the stadium. So they have already done that.
It's still a long way away, but the ground has seen some improvements. Fence surrounding the field of play was put up through the donation by the National Gaming Control Board. But the place still looks bare and needs touching up. But the plan by NCDC will bring in added facilities.
The main fence around the whole entire field, as well as building up. We will have a gym here, we will have a clubhouse here, and these facilities will also be built in here as well.
In recent years, the field was under the Connie Tigers Rugby League Trust, but someone sold the land and was bought. The matter is now in court, but NCDC will have to sort out the issue before construction begins.
Once that is sorted out with the interested parties, then they will come in. But it's for the Port Moresby Rugby League will be the organization that will look after them and manage the facility.
Feli Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
The football and Hekari United FC and Eastern Stars have secured the top 2 spots in the Southern Conference of the NSL, progressing to the next stage of competition. Also in the Northern Conference, defending champions Toti City Dwellers and Morobe United FC have advanced to the next stage.
In the Southern Conference, Hekari United remained unbeaten throughout the tournament, maintaining their spot in first place, while it was a tough battle for second place between Eastern Stars, Port Moresby United FC and FC Bougainville. Port Moresby United took on Star Mountain in a very heated contest that went down to the wire. If Pom United had won the match, they would have gone straight to second place. The match ended in a 3-3 draw. Hekari played Gulf Komara FC in their final match, beating Komara 3-1 and progressing to the next stage undefeated. Eastern Stars went up against FC Bougainville in a crucial match which decided their fate. Stars were clinical in their defense, denying Bougainville's chances of scoring. The match got intense as Eastern Stars tried to hold on to their 1-0 lead in Bougainville, fighting to keep their season alive. Stars managed to hold off Bougainville, winning 1-0. Though Stars and Pom United finished off on 24 points apiece, Stars snuck past Pom on goal difference to finish in second spot. Hekari United and Eastern Stars will now take on the top 2 teams from the New Guinea Islands Conference. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
26 cyclists from Abau in the Central Province recently cycled into Port Moresby, raising funds to help build a new house for the Gaba Gaba village pastor. The team travelled for 5 days, reaching Port Moresby on Saturday.
The pastoral home for Coco Lands United Church in Abau district has seen better days. Built over 32 years ago, the house has seen 13 pastors come and go. With the church's 14th pastor now serving this congregation, the community has decided to build a new house for Pastor Ragagaba and his family. To help raise funds for this cause, 26 youth decided to cycle into Port Moresby. The journey from Abau to Port Moresby taking 5 days, reaching their final destination on Saturday.
They started on Tuesday. to stay from Cocolands, Melanesian. They came Wednesday night. They spent it in Civitatana, at Civitatana village. They slept there. 4 o'clock in the morning, they got up. They came all the way down to Gaba Gaba. They spent the night there. And then Friday morning, they came down to Gaire village. They spent the night there. This morning, they took off, came all the way into Port.
Sinaleti Gaba said this is the first time for these youth to get behind this worthy cause, which was a struggle as some of the bicycles needed repair along the way.
Many of the boys have injuries from this cyclotron, and many of the bicycles too are down, but they struggle to get here.
Despite not having escorts, the cyclists managed to complete the trip successfully. Gaba has also called on their elected leaders to reach out to remote areas such as Cocolands to provide much needed assistance for the communities.
They are struggling. We've come to see these 2 years serving there. These remote areas are struggling. But during their struggles, I think that is where their faith is, real faith is put to the test in areas like that. So when they started this journey, their motto was, the pastor told them that their motto was
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Stay tuned, we'll have more of Trukai Sports after these messages. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To some sporting news abroad, and ahead of their grudge match against the Kiwis in just over a month, Tonga's rugby league team is fighting hard to keep its players from joining rival teams amidst ongoing drama at the board level. Star playmaker Jason Tamololo has even stepped in to make sure the team and administration has the right leadership.
Tongan coach Christian Wolff leaving Auckland having won 2 important battles. As Newcastle assistant, he helped plot yesterday's big win over the Warriors, while also checking on Tongan stars approached to play for the Kiwis.
I know there's some New Zealand-based guys that have been approached, and those players are all really committed to Tonga, and I've got no insecurities about where their heart lies and who they want to play with.
Australian-based players are being tempted as well by the Kangaroos and the big money of State of Origin.
Andrew, yes or no? Okay. Will you play for New South Wales this year? Freddie, you can stay out of it. That's a yes or no.
A no from Andrew Fifita, but it could be a yes for uncapped New South Welshman Tevita Pangai Jr., who can skip the Kiwis test in June for Origin before switching back to Tonga.
But if any of them do play Origin through the year, then we'll certainly see them in the red at the end of the year.
In March, the Supreme Court in Tonga sacked the entire Rugby League board. Some in the kingdom see it as nothing more than a power play. An interim board is now in place, but players are angry and confused. One News obtained this letter sent by Jason Tamololo to Tonga Rugby League. He was furious that the board was sacked and said he could reconsider his international future if key members aren't brought back in. A permanent board is set to be elected in June. The players who put it all on the line to create history now hoping it isn't ruined by the politics which have plagued so many other Pacific sports teams.
We all know social media plays a big part in today's world, but who knew it could have such an impact on rugby coaching? A former Otago player has set up an online coaching platform called Rugby Bricks. Several All Blacks and Wallabies are quickly jumping on board.
It's a sacred piece of equipment for any goal kicker. A piece of equipment this man is aiming to perfect.
We're seeing these little blue tees pop up everywhere. Who's using them?
They're really good. Hayden Parker's one of the main ones.
Oh, it's coming back!
Quade Cooper obviously uses it. Reece Hodge starting to talk around with Geordie Barrett.
Peter Breen used to play for Otago. But since giving the game away, he's moved into the business of helping others take their game to a new level, designing kicking tees as well as developing a new method of skills coaching.
Point through the target.
But unlike Steve Hansen and co, this is done entirely through social media.
Someone's scrolling through their feed, quick tip, 15 seconds and move on.
Named Rugby Bricks and followed by nearly 80,000 subscribers, he's already attracted the attention of several high-profile players.
Chest, yep, nice.
Namely Aaron Smith
nice set.
And Ben Smith.
feel very about me talking about it, but when you get one of the best in the world, if not the best fullback in the world, talking about what he's doing in the air with his hand placement and what he does with his knee, like that information is just it's gold.
He's also done extensive work with Australian women's player Georgia Page.
So from that hip, roll over.
A key reason why Rugby Australia has been quick to offer him a job.
Been fortunate enough to get offered the role with the Wallaroos, which I'm going to take up, so attack coach and back coach with them.
His videos, though, will still continue, hoping to inspire a new generation.
A lot of people know how to work hard, but the information we're trying to provide is out-learned.
Showing that while size may help, it's the finer details of the 15-man game that will ultimately see you succeed.
And that ends Trukai Sports. We'll have the weather forecast for the next 24 hours when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
A quick look at the weather forecast in the southern region. Port Moresby and Daru, as well as Kerma, can expect some showers and cloudy weather over the next 24 hours. A few showers in Alotau and rain and showers in Popaneta over the next 24 hours as well.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that has been the news, sport and weather for today, Monday the 6th of May 2019. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.